Upon taking a long scroll through creative writing videos, which ended up taking 3 months, while also trying to find inspiration for my next video, I began to notice one thing that had never occurred to me before today. Most videos have two themes, both being almost discouraging as a fellow creative writer. One, they focus on tips that should, according to the video, make you a perfect author. And two, they focus on everything you're doing wrong and tell you seemingly how to fix it. Though they might have good points, they are excessively overwhelming. It makes me feel as if I'm not doing good enough, no matter how much effort I'm putting into my story. If you know this feeling, I'm here to help you out, so please consider watching to the end of this video. Also, please consider subscribing. I will see it, and trust me, it will make my day 5 times better. Writing a book is hard, they say. But if you do this, I can fix everything for you. But those who follow the simple directions soon come to realize that a set of 10 steps can't completely revolutionize their writing, though some tips are more helpful to certain writers than others. In fact, they start to decline. They try to find what they're messing up, and other sources tell them that they're doing everything wrong. From there, it is easy to fall into a deep pit of demotivation and immersion. And some writers with huge potential will stay there forever. But that's why I'm here. Far too many amazing writers aren't able to recognize their abilities. So, here's a short list of things you are doing correctly in your writing. Though, if you find yourself lacking in one of these areas, don't sweat it. Not editing your story as you go, and not lingering. Many authors find that if they linger on a certain part of their story, they get exhausted from the repetition or become unhappy with their story, forcing them to give up. Even though I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, I still find that editing as I go makes me discouraged. But it is okay if you do read as you go, because I also find it helpful to reread my chapter so I can get a good idea for what to do in the next chapter. So, as long as you are staying away from doing intense grammar, plot, and word editing, you're in great shape. Writing differently than everyone else. Many writers fall under the false impression that their work is bad because it is too different from standard writing. But you don't have to be a copy-paste of the other authors you read. Your uniqueness helps you stand out as a writer. Skipping parts of your story to come back to later. Some think that they are messing up if they skip ahead in their story, but it can help you develop your story with foreshadowing and more when you go back for your second draft. You should not put too much pressure on yourself for your first draft anyway. Spending a long time imagining your scenes and just planning your story in general. If you're like me, you probably spent a lot of time dreaming up your story before you wrote it, especially the scenes that you really love. Many get discouraged before they even write, thinking, I've already spent this much time planning. I don't think I'll be able to finish the whole book in time. But how are you supposed to write a good book without a good plan? Keep on dreaming. Using writing prompts. Sometimes using a prompt feels like plagiarism or just copying of some sort. But just because someone else made the prompt doesn't mean that you can't use it. Even if someone else has made a story based off of it with the same prompt, I can bet that no one has made it the way that you will. Your writing is original, even if you follow some of the prompts. Overly sharing your book with others. We are often given the false impression that the contents of our book should remain a complete secret until it is published. But sharing it with friends as you go is a great way to improve and stay motivated. I finished a 70,000 word book in 6 months because I shared my story with my friends. Maybe a bit too much, admittedly. Writing a relatively short story. Not every book has to be 150,000 words. I've read some stories that were only paragraphs long, but they left more of an impact than huge, slow world-building books. In summary, you should not base the way that you see your story on what is popular in the writing industry. Sometimes what works for one writer won't work for another, and that's okay. As long as you continue loving and writing your story, it will be amazing. So, let's keep writing our stories until we reach the end.